Just imagine, you trust the closest people, open the doors of your home, divide what you have and find that it was all a cruel scam. That's exactly what happened to me. My name is Nina, I am 36 years old and I am a financial director of one of Tula's biggest factories, that concrete monster that looks like a monument to the times when the industry moved the country. 4 years ago, after years of saving each ruble, I was able to enter a modest 3-bedroom apartment in the proletarian neighborhood. Nothing luxurious, but it was mine. Still paid mortgage for the next 5 years, but these are details. The important thing is that, for the first time in my life, I had a place of mine. My parents, Tamara and Vladimir, retired recently. He, a master of works who spent his life in flower beds, she, a nurse in a municipal clinic. Their retirement, like that of so many others, barely covers the basic accounts. Whenever they could, I helped, or rather, I helped. My sister, Alina, 29, works as a media manager at a local advertising agency. Last year, he married Kirill, an unemployed civil engineer, but full of grand plans. Beautiful, friendly, those who conquer only with a smile. And that's how, without realizing it, I became the family's private ATM. It all started when I was still an intern at the factory. Alina was at school, and I already played her whims: new cell phone, show ticket, brand clothing. It's the older sister's obligation, I thought. But time has passed, she got a job, and the demands only increased. Nina, I need to cut your hair at the Lenin Avenue Hall. The hairdresser charges 5,000, but it's the best in town. Nina, the girls and I want to dinner at that new restaurant. The bill comes out about 3,000 per person. Nina, we can't afford the rent this month. Transfer there to my bill. My financial life became a monthly report: mortgage, my parents' accounts, groceries for them, loans to Alina and Kirill, and in the end, what was left over, when I was left, for me. I supported 4 adults besides myself. He had no children, went out once a semester, and my biggest luxury was not having to count coins in the supermarket. Where would my money go the most? 3 months ago, our neighborhood became the target of a wave of crimes. Car thefts, burglary, robberies in the buildings. Concerned, I hired a security company, Shield Tula, indicated by a colleague. The technician arrived with a catalogue of options: basic or complete kit. And what is complete what? I asked. 4 internal cameras, 2 in the corridor, 2 at the entrance of the building, cloud recording, motion alerts, phone access. I'm going completely, I decided. After all, security is priceless. A week later, 8 electronic eyes watch my house. He could check if he had closed the door, see when the delivery man left the packages. Perfect. I just didn't tell the family, not for malice, but because the moment did not simply come up. They barely appeared there, and talking about security cameras at dinner is not exactly a lightweight subject. 2 weeks after the installation, any Tuesday, I arrived from work with a strange feeling. No concrete, the cup of coffee was not where I had left it, the pillows of the sofa seemed uncanurious in a different way. I'm paranoid, I thought. After all, I heard podcasts about real crimes all the time: unresolved cases, the dark side, things like that. I rolled the house, checked windows and locks. Nothing abnormal. I had dinner, watched a movie, went to sleep. The following days passed in a blur of spreadsheets and reports. Until the annual corporate of the factory arrived. 3 weeks after that weird Tuesday, the company rented the Pianic restaurant for the holiday party. Dress code was smart casual, but I wanted to produce myself. I remembered my silver pissed Fiala bag, bought a year ago for 45,000 rubles a caprich, which allowed myself after seeing her in Max's showcase. It was beautiful, but had only used it once, in a cousin's marriage. I climbed on the stairs to catch her in the closet where I keep my most valuable things. And she wasn't there. Calm down, it must be elsewhere, I thought. I rolled the closet, the pantry, to the basement, where I keep boxes of old things. Nothing. It was Friday night, and the event would be the next day. Desperate, I called Alina. Alina, did you happen to borrow my silver bag? His answer was immediate, almost offended. Of course not. Why soon me? It's just that I don't think anywhere. I thought I could have loaned you and forgotten. Nina, If you gave me such a bag, I would keep it as a relic. I'm not irresponsible. Okay, maybe I played out unintentionally in the last cleaning. Yeah, last year you did that radical cleaning. It may have gone to the trash along with a lot of things. It was possible. But 45,000 rubles don't throw each other out like that, no more. The weeks have spent, and the end of the year at the factory is always chaos. Balance sheets, audits, planning for next year. I practically lived in the office, coming home just to sleep. Until, on a general cleaning Saturday of those where you move the furniture and wipe the cloth behind the refrigerator, I opened the desk drawer where I kept my Tissot watches. A gift from my maternal grandparents in graduation for over a decade. They were not a Rolex, but they were Swiss, elegant and, above all, a memory. They had died 5 years ago. The box was there. The watches, no. I was paralyzed, looking at the empty case, as if they could reappear by magic. I rolled the desk, the bedroom, the room. Disappeared. I sat in the kitchen with a coffee and started gathering the pieces, the feeling that someone had been at home, the missing bag, now the watches. Once it can be unlucky. Twice, coincidence. 3. This is standard. Someone was entering my house and taking my things. But how? The door always locked, home with camera, keys only with me and, with my parents. I had given them a game for them 4 years ago, by precaution. No, this is absurd, I thought. My own family. Impossible. Until I remembered, the cameras. I opened the notebook, entered the system. The recordings of the last 90 days were there. I started to back down, day after day. Tuesday, 3 days ago, around 15h. The front door camera recorded movement. I clicked on the video. 2 figures approach, take a key, enter as if they were owners of the place. I approached the image, although I already knew who they were. Alina and Kirill. I was there, mesmerized by the screen, watching the slow-motion betrayal. My fingers were shaking on the keyboard while watching, in slow motion, to my younger sister and her husband walking around my house as if they were the owners of the place. The hands did not stop shaking. I did not know if it is angry or pain so deep that it seemed to pierce the ribs. Timestamp in the recording confirmed, Tuesday, middle of the day. Business hours. I, of course, was in the office, attached to an endless meeting on quarterly budgets. They knew I wouldn't be at home. It is obvious they knew. After all, my work schedule was decorated by them, every second of my day mapped as a robbery script. Advance the video. Alina goes straight to the room. Kirill throws herself in the room like her. My sister turns my wardrobe with the naturalness of those who flip into a settlement catalogue, passing her fingers through my things as if they were in a used clothing board. Pulls the Kashmira sweater, the same one, bought in the Krasnoarmeyskaya street butter for a price that still makes me swallow dry. Shows to Kirill. The two laugh, as if it were a particular joke while evaluating the fabric between their fingers. Then, without ceremony, the sweater disappears within her bag. My stomach turns around. Advance more. Alina approaches the dresser, where I keep the jewelry box. Open it as if it were yours, pass your fingers through the bracelets, earrings, necklaces, displaying each piece to Kirill as if they were in a jewelry showcase. How they dare. The anger burns me inside, acidic, as I click for the next recording. 2 weeks before. Another visit. This time, 40 minutes of invasion. Alina run away my desk, Kirill lurks the pantry like a thief evaluating the safe. I see her open the drawer, take the box out of the watches, examine each one with a smile of satisfaction. Calls Kirill. He nods, approving, as if inspecting a first-rate lot of commodity. One more item for their collection. 3 weeks ago, that day when I felt that someone had been there, that the air of the house was different. An hour and a half of meticulous search. Alina put her nose in everything, bathroom cabinets, kitchen drawers, to the pantry of bedding. It took a bottle of perfume, makeup, almost new sneakers. And then that recording, 6 weeks before. Alina admiring herself in the mirror, posing while Kirill approves her head as a casting director. Another trophy for their bag. How long has this been happening? I returned to the older recordings. They started a week after I installed the cameras. And before? How many months years came in and left as if my house was a luxury self-service? I opened a spreadsheet. Yes, I know. Professional deformation of a financial director. Everything has to be quantified, tabulated, analyzed. But I needed concrete data. Date. Time. Items taken. 12 episodes in 3 months. Jewelry, clothing, electronics, even bottles of cellar expensive. Estimated damage, 130,000 rubles. Maybe more. I died to Alina. Hi, sister. Kirill too. Come dinner tomorrow. We haven't seen each other for a long time. They arrived punctual. Kirill brought a cake, probably the least his conscience allowed to spend. Alina hugged me as if nothing had happened, as if her hands had not bored every corner of my life. We sat at the table. Served noodles. Nothing special. I watched them as they ate, wondering if, at that very moment, they would be calculating the value of my new notebook bag at the entrance. In the middle of dinner, I couldn't stand it anymore. My things are disappearing, he said, looking into their eyes. Alina froze, the fork halfway to her mouth. Kirill suddenly developed an intense interest in the content of his glass. Summing. Repeated Alina after a calculated break. What, exactly? A silver clutch, grandma's clocks, some more things. Oh, Nina. Alina relaxed visibly, as if I had just told a bad joke. You live losing things. Remember when you sought the car keys for hours and they were in the fridge? That was once, and you were 20-2. Sighed, theatrical. But of course, you work too much, you're exhausted. It must be spreading your things without realizing it. I hit my fist on the table so hard that the cutlery jumped. The two startled themselves. I know it was you. My voice cut the air like a blade. I know they got into my house and stole my things. Alina's face turned red. What? This is absurd. How do you dare accuse us of theft? Kirill laughed. A short, sarcastic laugh, who feels untouchable. And the tests? He asked, with a disgusting smile. Serious accusation, my face. You can't throw something like that without foundation. His condescending tone made me tremble with hatred. Return it all, I ordered, the voice low, but firmly. Or pay me for what they took. Otherwise, I go to the police. They exchanged a look and laughed. Alina wiped tears so Grace. Would you report your own sister? She choked between laughs. Please, Nina. Don't be ridiculous. Kirill added, drying his lips with the Guardian. Apo. Well, we got some things, yes. So what? It's not like you were going to be poor because of it. He shrugged. I could have offered if it was so generous. We are not swimming in cash if you have not noticed. You have been unemployed for 2 months and haven't told me. For what? Alina snorted. For you to give us a lecture on responsibility. We turned well, thanks to your things. Stealing is not turning. To steal. She repeated, as if the word were offensive. We are family, Nina. Wheels help each other. It has always been so. Get out of my house. My voice was a cold whisper. They left still laughing. Kirill, as he passed the door, threw over his shoulder. Take a valerian, sister. You need it. As soon as the door closed, I called my mother. Mom, Alina, and Kirill are stealing my things. They enter here while I work and take what they want. What, Nina? His voice was a mix of unbelief and impatience. What silly is this? It's not silly. If they do not return or pay, I will register a police report. Silence. Then her tone was cold. There will be no police. Your sister earns less than you. You buy these expensive things and show off in front of it. You who tried it. Mom, are you justifying theft? What theft? In family, don't steal. And if you do that, your father and I will disinherit you. No contact. Did you understand? Hung up. I was paralyzed. My own mother had just threatened me to exclude for wanting to do justice. The next time was spent setting up a video with the recordings. All episodes, in chronological order, Alina and Kirill enter, rolling, leaving with full bags. I sent them, to my parents. The message was simple. Return everything or pay 300,000 rubles for what was stolen. A week to decide. Then go to the police. My phone exploded. Messages from Alina first. You filed us illegally. Let's sue you. Of my mother. You're embarrassing your family. Stop this freshness. My dad, short and dry. I'm disappointed with you. The next day, at 8 a.m., a keychain arrived. 3 hours of work, 30,000 rubles. I changed all the locks. No one received a copy. The following days were a bombing of messages. Alina alternated between anger and manipulation. I'm your sister. Doesn't that mean nothing to you? Then he returned to the attack. You are a heartless person. My mother was the worst. You are destroying this family. Your father does not sleep because of you. That's not how we raised you. On Wednesday, Aunt Galia, my mother's sister, called. Nina, your mother said you lost your head. Who is threatening Alina with the police? What is happening? She's stealing my things. I have video tests. What? Aunt Galia laughed, incredulously. It can't be. You are inventing. Hung up. Thursday passed in tense silence. Only poisonous messages. My mother even suggested that I needed a psychiatrist. Friday. 7th day. No money. None of my things. Just an Alina SMS. You don't have the courage. It won't call the police over your own family. At noon, I went to the Central District Police Station. The on-duty directed me to Lieutenant Antonov, young, with a close look. I want to register a police report. Why? Theft. I opened my tablet and showed the video mounted. Article 158 of the Penal Code. Antonov watched, whistled low. Solid proof. The amount is significant. Let's formalize the complaint. He paused. In cases between family members, sometimes archive, but with video and this value, there is a good chance of opening investigation. Where are the items probably? Or with them or at my parents' house. Let's do a search. Up to 10 days, according to the UPC. If we meet, we will call it for recognition. Everything will be documented. I signed the protocol, I received the probant. And I went back to work. At 6 p.m., while preparing dinner, someone started knocking on the door like crazy. Nina, open now. My father's voice was so furious that it made me shudder. Nina, please. My mother cried outside. Opening the door was like facing a hurricane. They had been taken. They had taken Alina and Kirill to the police station. How could you? I didn't open the door, just leaned against the other side, feeling the weight of the wood between us and the chaos they represented. They are thieves, I said, a firm voice despite the knot in my throat. And thieves belong to the police. Your sister. My mother's voice broke, as if this blood bond should erase everything else. As if sister were synonymous with license to steal. And should that mean something to her when she stole me? My laugh was bitter. This is inhuman. You are a monster. My father shouted, the words knocking on the door like fists. Did you want me to take them out of there? No problem. Return my money. 300,000 for what they stole. This is not blackmail, my voice was not shaking. It's repair. Choose. They spent another 10 minutes cursing, begging, until the silence finally fell. 2 hours later, my cell phone vibrated. Bank notification, received transfer. 300,000 rub. Tells, my parents' numbers. On Saturday morning, I went to the police station. Lieutenant Antonov signed my request to withdraw from the complaint without questions. They leave today, he said. I nodded, returning home with a clear mission. I did what I should have done years ago. Cancel all the automatic payments, electricity, water, gas from my parents' house. Monthly deposits on Alina's account. The supermarket card they used as if they were theirs. I blocked numbers, emails, social networks. A clean, surgical cut. Absolute silence. 2 weeks later, the phone rang. Unknown number. Aunt Galia, the hesitant voice. Nin, I need to apologize to you. Alina and Kirill had moved to my parents' apartment. They had no money for rent. My mother had finally told the whole truth, shown the videos, the tests. You know, Nin, I love your mother, but she made a mistake. In our family, it was never so. Help, yes. But steal. And it wasn't just me. Anya recalled that a golden bracelet disappeared after Alina visited her last year. Uncle Sergei said tools disappeared from the shed when Kirill helped with a repair. Pause. No one else invites them to dinner. Your parents are isolated, defending Alina as if she were a saint. The whole family turned their backs. Your mother asks from you. I took a deep breath. Did Alina got a job? I asked, already knowing the answer. In a call center. Middle period, minimum wage plus commission. Kirill is still unemployed. All squeezed in their parents' apartment, fighting all the time. Molodzy, I thought. Maybe now they learn what they are for what they have. Your mother is working too, Aunt Galia continued. Box in a grocery store. Your father takes nozzles wherever he can. They are over 70 years old. But they chose. They chose Alina and her theft instead of my trust. They paid $300,000 to save her from jail instead of letting her face the consequences. Nin. Aunt Galia's voice got softer. It's not my account, but isn't it enough? They are suffering. Aunt Galia, I sustained them for years. And what did I get? I was stolen, then called crazy for revolting me. She sighed. I understand. They made a mistake. But they are still family. I was also a family. And did not stop them. 2 weeks later, a letter arrived. Real roll, crushed envelope. I recognized the letter of Alina even before opening. Nina, forgive me. I know we act horrible. Kirill convinced me that you had so much that you wouldn't notice. I envied your beautiful things, your life, but that's no excuse. Now I work, I try to return to our parents what they had paid you. It will take years, but I'm trying. I don't expect you to forgive me. I just wanted you to know. I am really sorry. Relled 3 times. A part of me wanted to believe it. Another noticed how she played the blame on Kirill, how envy served as an excuse, as it didn't offer me back anything directly. I tore the letter. Yesterday, something unexpected happened. The reception called. Nina Alexandrova, there is a lady here. Tamara Viktorova. He says he is his mother. Say I'm busy. She said she will wait. Wait. An hour later, another phone call. It's still here. He asked to deliver something to you. Almost gave way. Almost. If in 10 minutes you don't leave, they call the police. She was. At night I found a box outside my door. No ticket, but I recognized the meticulous way my mother wrapped things. Inside, the silver bracelet, the grandma clock, some accessories. Maybe a quarter of what they had taken. Something, but not enough. The problem was no longer the objects. The clock, yes, had sentimental value, but the question was no longer. I wanted a real apology. Not an excuse for you being upset. Not an excuse, but you have more. Not an excuse, but family divides everything. I wanted to hear, sorry for betraying your trust, for stolen you, called you crazy, threatened to disinherit you and chosen the crime instead of honesty. But I knew I would never come. In their heads, it's still the victims. I am the heartless daughter, with a good salary, who abandoned them for a misunderstanding. My therapist says I'm on the right track. You were the convenient daughter, she explained. Always responsible, always taking care of others. This became your identity. And Alina was the youngest. This dynamic continued when you grew up. And now? I asked. Now you learn to say no. Learn that love is not letting people hurt you. Learn that your value is not what you give. It is difficult. There are days when I miss my mother teaching me to make dumplings, my father helping me with little Alina, laughing as I held her in the first attempts with skates. But then I remember, they chose. When they had to choose from daughters, they chose the thief. Between responsibility and complacency, they chose the second. Between truth and illusion, they preferred to lie to themselves. I also chose. For the first time in my life, I chose myself. No one else revolves my cabinets on surprise visits. In the clinic record, I put Xenia as emergency contact, a friend, not an obligation. I leave with Ilya, who pays for dinner without borrowing, who notices, between a sip of wine and another, you talk so little about the family. There is not much to say. We don't talk. And it's the most honest truth I've ever lived. Now my life fits me in me, the work that challenges me, the friends who choose to stay, the meetings that are not transactions, the therapy sessions where I learn to appoint what it hurt before. Living alone, with keys that only I have, is a different silence. It's not empty, it's relief. The absence of shouts, blackmail, doors knocking on 3 in the morning. It is the peace that is left when you stop feeding the chaos of others. Do I regret calling the police? No. It was the cold water bucket we all needed. Do I regret having cut ties? Sometimes when the night stretches and the apartment looks too big. But the morning always comes with a certainty. Better the loneliness than being hostage. Better the weight of a choice than the burden of a borrowed life. Aunt Galia tells me, with that tone of those who deliver a secret, that my mother is saying, I will reflect, I'll be back, forgive and forget. Like always. She is wrong. Nina would come back, the one who paid alien bills, who swallowed insults as if they were compliments, who confused love with debt. But this Nina died. Suffocated under the weight of those who only saw in it a vault with legs. The one under. Rue. This one knows how to say no. This requires respect as if it were oxygen. This does not negotiate his dignity for crumbs of rotten affection. And no, I don't want excuses. I don't need recognition. I don't want anything from them. For the first time, freedom is not an abstract concept, it is the floor under my feet, the door that is without fear, the future that does not depend on its approval. There is no return. And for the first time, that doesn't scare me.